Hi, I'm Martin Black. I work for Veolia as head of the ITSM Centre of Excellence. I'm very excited to be able to present to you today at this Knowledge Forum, and I'm joined by my co-presenter, Antoine.
Thank you, Martin. Hi, everybody. I'm Antoine Castex, working at Veolia in Paris, France since many, many years, and I'm currently the cloud solution architect for the group. I'm here today with you to speak about how we are working between Google Cloud and ServiceNow. Now let's get back to Martin.
Thanks, Antoine. And now on to the presentation. We'd like to take you through Veolia's journey and how we use ServiceNow to assist with our DevOps processes around Google Cloud Platform. We'll explain to you some of the move to cloud challenges we had, how we use ServiceNow to resolve those solutions issues, and then third, what were our key lessons learned. But before we move on to the solution, a brief few words about Veolia. Veolia are a global resource management company. We employ over 171,000 people around the world, and the group provides water, waste, and energy management solutions that contribute to the sustainable development of communities and industries. We have three primary business lines that include water, where we enable the management of the global water cycle from production and distribution of drinking water to the collection, treatment, and recycling of wastewater. For environmental and waste, we provide services for the management of liquid, solid, hazardous, and non-hazardous materials, and we cover the entire life cycle from recycling to the final recovery of waste. And third, in our energy sector, we provide the efficient management of heating and cooling networks, including green energy production. If you look at just three of our key figures, we provide clean drinking water to over 95 million people globally. We treat nearly 50 metric tons of waste and provide the energy enough to power the industry for over 500 cities. So let's talk a little bit about our cloud challenges. Within our cloud strategy, there are 5 pillars. First is DevOps, the rapid and agile development and operation of our solutions, using service technologies. No longer is it just move to cloud and lift to shift. We actively leverage all of the cloud capabilities provided by the cloud providers. With a target to have 0 data centers, we fully embrace the public cloud. Of course, everything is done with a mandatory secure by design approach. And lastly, within our strategy, we operate a multi-vendor model. We will leverage the best from all of the providers. Let's talk a little about sustainability, which is a core value to Veolia. We actively seek suppliers with the same principles that we have. So it's logical we work with cloud providers who match the same values. An example, Google, who use 100% green energy. Let's talk a little about waste. Waste should no longer be considered a problem. Materials should be recycled or recovered. Food waste and green waste should be turned into compost. So how does this apply to us in the IT world? Digital sobriety. This is a new approach and one we would recommend everybody adopts. In Veolia, the group headquarters take a lead in this as an example to all of our international countries within the group. So what is digital sobriety? The point is to reduce the resources we use in our cloud projects. We may look at an example of a smartphone, where the actual manufacturing of the smartphone is very resource intensive. So if you can stretch the life of a smartphone from 2 years to 4 years on an equipment side, that helps reduce your impact on the environment. Likewise, cloud. If we reduce the resources and optimize the resources to only use what we need, again, we're reducing the impact on the environment. Think about value, not costs, and think about governance. So as we move into Antoine's part of the presentation, I'd like you to think around these 2 points before we move on. It's no longer okay to track costs. You've got to think as an architect about value How do we engineer our solutions so we're optimizing the solution before we even write a line of code? Look for opportunities to reduce and optimize. That helps with value and reduce costs. Think about governance. Again, an important point before you actually move into constructing anything. So in the next section, we'd like to lift the lid on how Veolia approached Google Cloud Platform governance using ServiceNow. Over to you, Antoine.
Thank you, Martin. Now you know who we are. Let me tell you more detail about the technical stuff we have deployed on these topics. We have decided to present to you two topics today. First one is around global security. The second one is about to start a journey on GCP with ServiceNow. So the first one, we have a Google Cloud Platform. We deploy many applications on this platform. We have many databases and other products enabled. We want to have a global overview of what's going on this platform. We have a security product for that called Google Cloud Security Command Center, which is a global solution where you can retrieve all the assets and if everything is going on good or bad on your platform. The problem was you are not informed if something bad happened right now. You have different possibility to be informed, but that was not enough for us. We have decided to deploy our own solution. We use Google Cloud PubSub for that, which is a topic subscriptions messaging solution on Google. That's trigger a Google Cloud function, which is a function as a service solution where you have just simple lines of code that can make everything you want. On that topics, this cloud function is doing some very basic but very important stuff. The first one is to inform the team in charge of the development of the product. Most of the time they are using Slack, so we have decided to communicate through Slack on that. The second one was to inform the guy in charge of the business of this application. It can be or it can't be for some reason an IT guy sometimes, so we have to contact them by email using SendGrid. The next one can be the reporting part because we have to use Google Data Studio for making some very good reports about the problem that we are having right now and that we were having yesterday and that we will have tomorrow. So we are using BigQuery to store all this big data because Google BigQuery is the data warehouse that Veolia has chosen. And we use Google Data Studio, as I said before, to make this representation. And the last one and the most important, and I think this is why you are here today, is the ServiceNow. We want to inform the guy in charge of the project that something bad is happening right now on his project. So sometimes you send an email, but the guy is not checking his email. Sometimes you send an SMS. Sometimes you are using some other way to contact them. But a ticket in ServiceNow is very good because you can track everything. You can have the date when the problem was happening first. You can have an history of if there is something like that before in the past. You can be sure that everything you have is only in one place. And that's why we have chosen to use ServiceNow. Second topic is global. Because now we are secure, let's talk about the first point of these second topics, the governance. At Veolia, we have a governance in G Suite. G Suite is the identity platform that Veolia has chosen, where you have all the Veolia employees. And we have chosen to adopt a governance which is totally aligned with the governance that we have in real life. That means at Veolia, we are organized in different countries where you have different business units and different business lines. Let me tell you some example. You can have Germany where you have waste and water, and you can have Japan where you only have waste and energy. So in G Suite, we have organized all the accounts under this business unit in many different countries. So we have decided to use the same organization in GCP. You can retrieve, as you can see on my slide, the country and the business unit. And under that, you have the application that the business unit has chosen to deploy on GCP, and you have the product that they have enabled to do that. Why we have decided to use that is for a big reason, just to have some report, to be aware about how Germany and how Japan is using this platform, to be able also to rebuild them, because every month we send the invoice to every country that are consuming cloud resources. Okay. So now you know the organization. Let's imagine that I'm a developer. I want to start my first day on GCP because I have a new use cases and I have to deploy an application on GCP. I don't have direct access to the console of Google because Veolia has decided to block that. Why? Because we think it's better to use a solution like ServiceNow to concentrate and to be sure that we can control and be aware about what's going on exactly on the platform. We want to be sure that everybody using the platform respect the naming convention, the rules that we have tried to deploy globally, that means in all the country where Veolia is present. So first, we have decided to deploy a portal on ServiceNow where you have many different items present. You have, for this example, the first one, which is a project, because when you start your journey on GCP, the first thing that you need is a GCP project, which will be the place where you have all the resources that you will use. So you have a very simple request to fill in. You have many different information that we need to be sure that your request is good or not. The first one is the name of the project following the naming convention that we have adopted. Second is the owner, I mean the guy which will be in charge of the project, can be you, can be also you plus your colleague, or can also be you plus your manager, independent of what you need. Next one is the entity, if you are working on water or if you are working on waste. Next one is the perimeter, if your application will be for global Veolia or only for Europe or especially for France. The next one will be the paid services. If you plan to use paid services, we have to be informed for that because we have to link the project to the billing account of Veolia to be sure that you are able to use paid services. And we have to set some alert of budget to be sure that we are informed about the consumption that you are going to use. And the last one will be the environment. If you need some multiple environment, I mean a production, a development, and a demo, for example, we will be able to provide to you these three environments separately in just one request. So now what's going on? My team is receiving this request and we have to check it before approving or not. We receive something like that, which is a summary of what I have seen to you, show to you before. The ID of this request, the due date, the guy which is asking that, and all the details. The name of the project, following the naming convention, of course, the guy that will be the official owner of this project, the entity, the paid services, the amount of paid services, and the different environment that the guy is asking for. Now let's talk about technical stuff. A global overview of the workflow that we are trying to deploy right now is here on this slide. The first step, as I said before, is you connect to ServiceNow, to the portal of Google Cloud. The second is you give me all the information that I need to approve or not your request. The next one is I have to approve your request or not. For example, if your project is already existing and you don't know that, or if there is something bad you have put in your request. On this example, I will say I approve your request because it's totally normal. The step 4, start everything on technical side. That's called a cloud function. As I said before, a cloud function is a function as a service solution with very simple lines of code that makes something very good happening very fast. The first step will be create the project before trying to say if the project exists or not. That create the project, that move it into the good folder. The folder can be the entity that you have choose to be. If you say I'm from Germany, the project will be located in the Germany part of GCP. The next step will be to give the permission on the project. As I said before, the guy will be in charge of the project, will be the owner of this project. The next step will be to link the project to the billing account of Veolia to let you use paid services. And the last one will be to create some budget alert to inform the billing administrator when something bad happens. Something bad can be an overconsumption because you don't know really how to use this product, or it can also be a problem that's happening on your platform. Maybe if something bad happening on the security stuff. Okay, so now you have all the workflow that we are trying to deploy. Now, just to finish on my side, let's speak about what's next. First, we want to provide more item creation on the portal. I mean, I want to provide to you requests for VM, for bucket, for many, many different services. I want to be sure that everybody use the portal to request some product and they don't use the console to create themselves the thing that they want. Okay, we want to control what's going on in the platform. Next one can be the budget alert, because now, as I said before, the alert of budget are receiving on the email of the billing administrator. We want to inform the guy on ServiceNow directly, the guy in charge of the project, to be sure that the guy say, okay, I have a problem, I have received a ticket assigned to me because I have consumed a lot on this project. Maybe I have to check very, very quickly what's going on. And the last one will be the incident report. I mean, it's a classic use case where you have an application deployed and hosted on a cloud provider. And when the application is falling down, you have to inform the team in charge of the application, hey, the application is not available yet, can you check it? So now let's go back to Martin.
Thanks, Antoine, that was really good. Now, let's get back to the final part of the presentation. 4 areas of benefit. Customer adoption was good, CSAT was high. Delivery to the customer was fast. Used to take days to deliver this, now it's almost instant, near real time. We believe we saved about 12k euros a year on just not having to spend time waiting and rekeying. Most importantly, there was a massive reduction in the potential risk of uncontrolled cloud spend. What lessons do we learn? Firstly, establish what you want from all of your stakeholders, the engineers, the technicians, the end users, IT, whoever. Form a consensus on what you actually need first. Then get senior level sponsorship. Antoine this was one of his first actions and probably one of the most critical ones. We got early buy-in from very top level sponsors. Then decide your long-term target. You need to know where you're heading before you start off on your journey. And then deploy in phases. Earn value as you go. Take an agile approach. Lastly, communicate often, frequently, and to everybody. Our takeaways: get suitable sponsorship, very important. Leverage design thinking and adopt slowly. Iterate, review, and deliver value as you go. So that concludes our presentation. We hope you enjoyed it and found something useful that you can use within your organization. So thank you from myself and Antoine. Enjoy the rest of knowledge.